think the only thing he's got to do now is probably sell some furniture at a mini mall, maybe talk about some zombie turtles. Anyway, Chris Bosh had a great Olympics and has a great job on YouTube. Brian Colangelo says the Olympic experience will make Bosh a better player. The Toronto Sun's Frank Ciccarelli thinks it won't have any impact at all once the season begins. Will, I'm going to start with you here. Where do you fall in this debate?
I don't know that the Olympic, his Olympic performance will necessarily propel him. It will definitely give some more visibility to Toronto, to the Toronto Raptors and to Chris Bosh. I think he did a great job promoting himself and in turn, hopefully promoting the Raptors. Will it affect his play? I think playing with guys like that does affect your play.
But do you think it'll affect his play playing with the Toronto Raptors roster? Will it have a positive impact? Will we look at midpoint season going, wow, Bosh was a great player this year. Now he's even better, and the Olympics played a part in that. Will we be able to make that statement?
I think we will. I think we will be able to.
Eric, tell Will why he's completely wrong.
No, I think he's completely right, actually. And I think the reason being is that you go on and play on that level, and you're playing amongst the best players in the world, let alone against the best players in the world. And you're actually a guy.
Well, they weren't really playing against the best players in the world. I mean, no offense, the best players in the world were on the U.S. roster.
And he practiced against them every day.
The world champions weren't the U.S. The previous Olympic champions weren't the U.S.
All right, all right. If we want to really talk about Greece, I think the best players in the world, the ones that weren't at the Olympics, were probably at home.
But you're taking one part of what I said. He was playing against and amongst the best players in the world. And in crunch time in those games, who was on the floor? Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, and Chris Bosh.
Yep.
Now, it might have just been who was on that team, but at least on that team, he was the best big man, and he was the guy that Coach K's
clearly he was better than Dwight Howard and Carlos Boozer. No one on this set is going to argue that. Normie.
Yeah, I was just going to add in, the one thing to keep in mind is how much it may improve Chris Bosh's game remains to be seen. The reason why I'm a little bit doubtful, I'm not doubting him, but I'm just saying in terms of the international game is so much different that it may not impact his NBA game.
You don't bang as much in the international game against big bodies as you do in the NBA.
I think, look at every player, hopefully like him and that whole draft class that came out with him. They're all great. They're all continuing to evolve and mature into better players. But I don't know that the international experience necessarily helps their NBA game.
I think it did, Norm, because they had to adjust to offensive or defensive strategies against them that they don't really see in the NBA. Like sometimes people will throw a junk zone in the NBA.
So, but how
these guys
would that help him in the NBA?
All right, so because he's not going to be in the post, he's not going to be asked to get down on the post. Now they have Jermaine O'Neal in the post, so it's going to open up his game some more. He likes to be out on the perimeter. He likes to show his dribble skills, off the bounce, going to the basket, and his jumper. Now he'll be able to do a little bit more with somebody he can depend on inside. And I think if Jermaine O'Neal can play 70 games this year, because we know he's, a little fragile.
He's not playing 82 games this year.
He plays 70 games this year. Toronto has a great chance of competing in the East. I really do believe that.
All right, well, now one guy they're going to need to compete in the East is Jose Calderon. Now, before we get to Calderon, his performance and his injury, let's just put this to bed. The incident where the Spanish team, when they were trying to do, we like to call it the diss against the Chinese team, right there we've seen on the screen where they're trying to emulate the Chinese team and the Chinese culture. Will this have any backlash at all for this upcoming season in a city that is as multicultural as Toronto?
I would think that by the time the season comes around, this has maybe gone away a little bit, but I can tell you just from emails that I've had over the last couple of months, I interact with Raptor fans a lot through the website and the blog and the column and all that. There are a number of people that are pretty upset about this, especially those from Chinese or Asian descent. They were very upset by it, and they took it as a slap in the face. So I'm sure there will be some people that will still be upset about this, and this will affect their opinion of Calderon or of the Raptors. Whether it's overblown or not, I can't say. I'm a white guy that wasn't necessarily offended by it, but I mean...
You know what? It has nothing to do with that. If you want to talk about if it's overblown, they still boo Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady here. So let's be realistic. It will happen, and it's going to happen for a long time, maybe from a small segment of the fans.
With a current guy, though, that's the thing. That's what's going to be different, and that's why it will have a carryover.
I find, Will, that most fans, I think it's actually unfortunate in a sense, most fans, because a player wears a jersey with their hometown name on it, and I'm not putting Calderon in this category. I'm saying you have guys who get in serious trouble sometimes with the law or do some ugly things, and as long as they're wearing a jersey with the name of their city on it, almost anything goes and almost anything is forgiven. And to me, it's like people forget. Just because so-and-so is a so-called hero, which they're not, they let anything go.
Right.
I think that's unfortunate.
Well, guys, we don't have enough time to discuss it, but hopefully also with Jose Calderon, the injury isn't that serious. We all have Garbajosa on our mind. We got to go to break. A lot more coming up right after this.